to tonight's stream, the first match in tonight's Riot Squad Scrims. We are starting off in Vikendi and we are watching player 2 with a southern to northern flight path. And the first teams to go are Team 21, made up of Deathly Hallows, which includes Welshie, Eyes, Baza and Crazy, and they're heading to Winery, along with team number 3, made up of Killam, Goddess, Get Over It and Zen of Riot. And then we have a few other teams, most of them heading to an eastern direction, with team number 2, Riot, going towards Castle, with team number 6, made up of MK, heading to the Villa, with team 22, Fusion Elite, heading west to Movatra, with team number 9, Zen, heading towards Dogra Mesto. So let's stick with team 21 for the time being, as they seem to be going towards the hot springs, with team 3 heading more east towards Kantra, just by the coast. And already the first zone has been revealed and it is fairly evil, I would say. All of it moving south, so a fair few of our teams will need to be making their way to the zone right from the start, with teams 14 Lionheart and team 4 Jen having the most work to do to get to the next zone. And that zone will close in 4 minutes 25 seconds. And we already have Welshie inside a vehicle wanting it to move, with Crazy doing a little bit of looting. And the first knocks are coming in, with Pen Wolfie taking down a member of the Paradox. And here we go, so it's PDX Subi who is down. And that is Wolfie almost being knocked by Wilo of Team 13. And he's just applying a bandage just to get that health back up to the top, with Subi being revived by Nash. Wilo still firing towards Pen Wolfie. We have Nash just on the second floor. Wolfie is being forced to use bandages just to get that health back up. He is the most vulnerable, I would say, as Team 13 know exactly where he is. Hopefully Wilo is just communicating that to the rest of the team so they can continue to fire towards Team 8 to reduce their numbers and give them a better shot at coming out of this the winners. So Wolfie is now throwing smokes, mollies are going in, as are grenades, and that is now to Nash. And the rest of team number 8 is still firing towards them just to give Wolfie that cover to get to a more secure position so that a revive can be out. But as I say, Team 13 are now getting in amongst Team 8, making their position harder to protect. And what we're now seeing is that Team 13 is doing a rotation, moving around the right hand side, pressure on Team 8. But saying that, Wolfie is managing to get closer to his team, so hopefully they will be able to do a successful revive. The smokes will go in just a moment, and Wolfie a fake door, but nonetheless Menace is now getting the revive on Wolfie. But saying that, the other teams are getting in amongst it. So let's go to Team 10 for the time being, which is Zen. We've lost Nemris and we've lost V-Man. So it's 2v4 as Jen take on Zen. And just like that, everything has fallen quiet as we have a 2-2 split from Team 5, sorry, a 3-1 split, with Jen Spook just managing to get in amongst Tequila and Chezak. And we now have Jen £1 Fish going up against Zen Fallen, who is on the mountain. So we have Zen Mustang just staying behind with the 2 players from Team 5. Team 5 are doing a really sensible thing. They're doing a 2-2 split, meaning that Fallen has to go up against Jen £1 Fish and Spook. And wow, just like that, Zen Fallen takes down 2 members of Jen. That is Jen £1 Fish going down, as well as I am waiting for Jen Spook to go down too. So that leaves Tequila and Chezak to go up against Mustang now on the left hand side. Presumably Fallen will start to move into support to Mustang, because as always you'd rather go up 2-2 than 1-2. But Team 5 is still firing towards Mustang, so it's not going to be an easy fight, I would say. But they are inside zone, so that is to their benefit. It means that they are not being pushed into the gunshots being provided by Team 5. They have got that time to think about their positioning, to think about their strategy going forward. And as we can see, Zen Fallen is still firing towards Team 5, despite the fact that Fallen is across the road from them. And here comes a smoke courtesy of Mustang. And now Chezak and Tequila are now pushing away from them, retreating away, sorry, from team number 10. They have lost 2 members in quick succession, so this may be a smart choice from them, just removing themselves from the fight that they don't really want to lose at this point. It is fairly early into game number 1. We're only 7 minutes in, and we're already down to 16 teams, 58 players, and they have now 1,400 meters to go to get to a zone, and they are fairly high, so they have got a lot of work to do to make sure that they are able to progress through game number 1 and hopefully get that winning spot. And here we go, a flare has gone up already. Now, being outside the zone, that will mean that they will be giving a BDRM, so it is what they would call a bulletproof vehicle. I would beg to differ. Enough gunshots into that and it is going to blow up with no problem whatsoever. But it is a vehicle that can be used within water as well as on land, so that will always give them that extra opportunity to just get around the enemy and get into zone without too much trouble. But for now, as the teams now start moving in, let's move over to team 23 and just have a look. They have just managed to take down the Gen team, and that is why team 23 have 4 kills already. And Gen Tequila has gone down courtesy of Pen Help. So Gen Chezak is going to be vulnerable and is then taken down by Pen Help courtesy of a G36C, the Vikendi version of an M4. And let's now move over to the Riot team, where we see that Guess Over It has just been knocked and is being revived courtesy of Riot and Zen. So they are going up against team number 2 as well as team 17. And that is Riot Mystic being finished off by Goddess of team 3. And now Get Over It has been revived by Zen 2. So Zen appears to be the medic for team number 3. Always a good person to have around to get the revives and hold the first aid kits. But Riot Ghost has just been taken down. So we seem to have a real mishmash of teams, with Team 3 Riot going up against Team 2 Riot, going up against Team 17, made up of various players. I do apologise, I do not know the clans that they represent. We've got SK, we've got Risk, and we've got Heidi. But I will find that out before the beginning of game number 2 so that I can commentate on them in the best way that I can. And that is Zen taking down Risk. And here we go, so we have team number 7, which is made up of Pen, struggling to get through the zone. They still have a fair way to go. They are one of 4 teams that are still yet to get to zone. The other being team 13, which is Wallow, PDX, ZPX and Fluffy, as well as team 22, Fusion Elite, and team 19, made up of RZ. They are just on the line. They are very near to getting in, but they are just being held back by team 23, made up of ZPX. So far, we are now down to 13 teams. We have lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams so far, with ZPX Psycho now getting a knock on a member of team 19 or 15, I believe. Nope, correction, it is team 19. They are now going up against Alf. So now what we're seeing is Team 19 moved away from the situation. They weren't held back from getting into the zone by Teams 23. Because this is the first it wouldn't have done that much damage, but the issue they would have is that as the zone got smaller and smaller, the longer damage would be inflicted upon them. Now ZPX Psycho has just been taken down. We've got Jay trying to give a bit of covering fire. Now we have Kvesh who's up. We have Psycho and Kata who are not. Psycho has been revived by Jay. So I presume that Kvesh would go and get Kata to revive all 4 members of Team 23. Now here comes the zone again, moving inwards. We are still seeing that southern zone. And it looks as though team number 9, Zen, are being taken down. We've lost Venom and Abstract. We still have Missy, representing team number 9, a Molly to hand, but using a first aid kit to recover some health. And going up against 4 members of team 7, Pen. We have Pencons, who is down. And it looks as though Help is the one to go and get that revive. And here comes a Molly. We have just heard the glass smash. Oh, and that is a direct hit on Zen. Missy now using a first aid kit to try and outdo the Molly that's just been thrown. Now it looks as though Team 7 have a rough idea of her location, but the best thing she did then was not to get up. a lot of the time, if somebody's hit by Molly, they will panic, they will get up and they will try and run to another location. We've got Penn and Missy has just been spotted and takes down Rags YouTube. He's now been fired upon. It takes down Penn Devious, and that is Penn Cons who gets the kill on Zen Missy. And will now go and get those revives. A smoke is thrown in, courtesy of Penn Help, who will now get the revive on Devious there. So great play there from Zen Missy. She did really well considering that she was the last player left standing and was having mollies and being approached by the other team members of Team 7. And to get 2 knocks, that is good going from her. But unfortunately, it was just Penn Cons was there on time and managed to get that kill for Team 7. And they now have 7 kills. So we're now 16 minutes into game number 1. We have just passed the halfway mark. So let's have a quick recap. So we have 11 teams standing, 37 players. The zone will change again. It's now staying roughly where it was in the first time round. It's keeping in play Volnova as well as the Winery. So the majority of teams are inside the next zone. It is just Team 19 that will just have to move west a little bit to get in. I think at this stage it is wise for Teams 21, Team 17, Team 2, 3 and 19 to move across that bridge, keep going west to get onto the main island. As I'm thinking that the zone will possibly move north, maybe a little bit west. But I think it will move away from the coastline and away from the island to the east. And obviously, as the zone gets smaller and smaller, the blue zone will do more and more damage. So I think it'd be wise for the teams now to try and stay away from that blue zone and stay ahead of the game. But what we are seeing is that the majority of teams that are still standing have at least 1 kill. Fair enough, Team 19, 21, 22 and 25 will have some work to do to get some kills for themselves, as well as Team 2, I do apologise. But the other teams have at least 1, so that will get them up that leaderboard in terms of points. And of course we do have another 2 games coming up, so there is always time to get some more kills, get those placement points and get higher up the leaderboard to get in the top 3 placement. But for now, I think what we'll do, let's have a quick look at Team 21. And that is definitely Hallows. We have Crazy who is sitting inside the vehicle. So it could be that possibly Crazy is away. And we've just seen Welsh be knocked by Riot Panda, courtesy of an M762. And there we go, Crazy is back in the game. And looks as though Eyes is going up to get the revive on Welshie. We've got Panda just by the wall and the airdrop is empty. Crazy is staying put just by that wall. He will want to hold that position at the moment just to put a bit of pressure on Panda, because the only option he would really have is to either go up against Crazy or go towards the water. And I don't think he would want to go there now. And that is Eyes being knocked by Panda. Crazy is moving around. And that is Crazy that gets the kill on Riot Panda. Brilliant going from Eyes to cause that distraction. Allowing Crazy to jump in and get that kill on Panda. And here comes a smoke. So team number 21 have got their first kill of game 1. And they are now inside the zone. It's moved a little bit east. So it's now cutting off Team 22 Fusion Elite and Team 23 ZPX. So now let's go over to Team 25 Vape. And we are seeing Vape Rocky getting the knock on ZPX. And now Benny taking down PDX Subi and getting the kill. Nix is taken down by Wilo, who is then taken down by Vape HUD. And then Vape Rocky is knocked, courtesy of RZ Supreme. So what we're now seeing is that Team 25 are fairly sandwiched between Team 13 and Team 19. Now what we're seeing is that Team 19 are not pushing. What they are doing is they are letting Team 13 do the majority of the hard work, and they are then coming in last minute and taking the kills from Team 13. So it's kind of really smart of Team 19 to do that, but it's really unfortunate of Team 13 that all their hard work is going to waste. But Vape Denny gets the kill on Fluffy with a brilliantly thrown grenade there. And smokes are now going through to try and get those revives. And what Team 25 will need to do is be mindful of the teams they have around them, but they are aware that Team 19 are in the general area. And Vape Rocky is scoping in, and that is RZFBI taken down courtesy of M24. And here we go, Risk has now got a knock on the RZ team. So Team 17 are now getting into the swing of things and going up against Team 19. So Team 25 can now have a slight break whilst they let Team 17 do the hard work. And it looks as though the play zone is now having a play and taking down members of Deathly Hallows as well as members of Riot. As Team 21 go up against the zone, we have a couple of members knocked. Let's just see who is still in play, and it is Welshie, last standing member inside a vehicle, just trying to get to zone. That is Bazza down, that is Crazy down too, and that is Welshie finished off by the play zone. And the zone has changed again. And what we're now seeing is that Team 17 are inside zone. It's moved to the east. So all the other teams now need to make their way in. So Team 17 are in a brilliant position in that they have the zone. They have the one thing that all the other teams want. They want that security. They want that safety. They want that opportunity to just secure their position and start gatekeeping the other teams. So what Team 17 will need to do now is really take advantage of that and not let this opportunity go to waste by just giving away the zone to the other teams. They want to shoot, they want to hold them back, push them back into that blue zone. And because it is the later zone, as I mentioned earlier, it will now do a fair amount of damage, which will give Team 17 that great chance to work alongside it and use it as more of a comrade in a sense, and a teammate, in that they're going to do the damage and they can just sneak in at the last minute, throw a few shots and hope that they can then steal those kills from the play zone. And as I mention in every single stream that I do, near enough, is that the blue zone is not there to make friends. It wants to get kills of its own and it wants to get that first place finish, as do the other teams. What we're seeing is that a lot of these teams are really sticking together, being close knit. And we are now seeing Team 3 Riot go up against ZPX. Team 23, Z has been held back by the blue zone and is now trying to make his way through, being fired at by Psycho. And if he keeps doing the rotation that he's on, he may then come into contact with the other members of Team 23. And what you're seeing is that Riot Den is choosing not to go towards the windows, go through them. And I think for the current position he's in, that's a wise choice. Trying to get through windows is always unpredictable with PUBG. You might be able to get through, or it might just throw you right back. It's just not something he can risk. And unfortunately, he is then taken down by Psycho, who I believe will be taken down by the Zoner himself very, very shortly, as predicted. And now we have Pen Help being taken down by SK Tonka, who then gets the kill. And here we go. We now have our top 5 teams for game number 1. We have Team 7 Pen, we have Team 17 SK, we have Team 19 RZ, Team 22 FE, and Team 25 Vape. And here we go. So Rags is just on the line of the zone. And logically, he will now try and gatekeep Team 19 and Team 17. We have Team 22 taking on Team 25. So all of the teams are being occupied at the moment. There is no one team that's just kind of sitting back and doing nothing. So I think at the current point, all teams are at risk. And we're now seeing Team SK being taken down by Vape. And we are now down to just 4 teams. Now we're looking at Team 7. They have 9 kills so far. If we have a quick look, Team 19 have 3. Team 22 have just the 1. And Team 25 have 8. And I think now it will now go a little bit quiet as the teams try and just kind of refresh themselves and just get those boosts in, get those first aids in, get those positions right. But we're now seeing Team 25, as you can see in the map in the top right hand corner, they're rotating round, trying to take on Team 22. And Team 19 are doing the same thing. But we do have a member of Team 19 coming right for Rags. And that is a member of RZ Warner that is down, courtesy of Rags, but then being finished off by Vape Denny. Now the risk that Rags will find himself in is that because he's taken down a member of Team 19, there are other members of Team 19 that are still alive. So as long as the communication is on point, they will then be able to direct the other members of Team 19 to Rags' location. So he is at risk if he does stay there, which he is choosing to do at the moment. Now, there could be a good reason for that. It may be because, he's taken down a member of Team 19. He may be hoping that Team 25 and Team 22 take him down. But as we can see, FBI's got that kill. But unfortunately, he has then revealed his location to the FE team and has then been taken out. So here we go. We have 2 teams left. We have Vape and we have FE. Now in terms of the height advantage or disadvantage, shall I say, they are relatively at the same height, so there is no real height advantage in play. But what FE have is the mountain. They are using that for cover really. By getting in and amongst those ridges, they're making it harder for Team 25 to get those knocks and those kills. And we do have a burnt out vehicle, which is always a good hiding spot for any team. But Vape Denny is now pushing in. And Vape Denny's just got the knock on FE and Marnie, who is now retreating back to be revived. We've got FE Towel and Jiggle just rotating right to try and give some cover fire to preoccupy the effort of Team 25, and that is Towel taken down courtesy of Vape Denny. Jiggle takes down Vape hard, Vape Denny takes down Effie and Marnie, and Jiggle is taken down by Denny. So we've got Norveen And that is the end of game number 1. And in first place is the Vape team with an impressive 13 kills. We have FE in second with 2. We have RZ in third with 4. We have Pen in fourth with 9. We have SK in fifth with 7. We have ZPX in sixth with 8. And then we have the Riot team in 7th with 3. If you have enjoyed the stream, please follow the channel for new content. We will be back in just a moment for game number 2 of the Riot Squad Scrims. I am Abs, and please come back very shortly for game number 2. We will be right back in just a moment.